Mobile games, 5 layers. This is the mobile gaming iceberg, or at least part 1. This iceberg isn't just a list of weird mobile games. It's a dive into everything the industry doesn't want you to think too hard about. Get cozy, because we have some things to cover.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. How much was it? $15. $15. Oh, perfect. Just
You've seen the ads. Someone casually playing solitaire or bingo on their phone, then suddenly screaming as they win hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Apps like Bingo Blitz, Solitaire Cash, and Mistplay dominate the charts with the promise that you can make real money just by playing games. Obviously, most of these apps aren't what they seem. Some require upfront payments or entry fees to compete in higher reward brackets. Others bury the odds and payouts behind convoluted rules, hidden minimums, or strict withdrawal limits that make cashing out nearly impossible. A few even technically do pay, but only to a tiny fraction of players, while the vast majority never see a dime. In many cases, you're playing against bots or real opponents who've dumped serious cash into gaining an advantage. And yet, these apps stay at the top of App Store charts, powered by aggressive ads and fake testimonials. They prey on economic anxiety and casual players looking to make easy money, all while profiting from in-game purchases, ads, and sometimes even data harvesting. It's not quite a scam, but it is scam adjacent. The illusion of quick riches hides a system designed to profit off volume, not winners. For every player who makes a few bucks, thousands more are just lining the pockets of the developers. Final Fantasy, All the Bravest, is what happens when a beloved franchise gets chewed up by the worst parts of mobile gaming. On the surface, it looked like a celebration of the franchise's history. Pixel art, classic enemies, familiar music, and dozens of returning characters. Once players dug in, it became clear this wasn't a love letter. It was a trap. There was barely any gameplay. You didn't choose your party or strategize. You just mindlessly tapped the screen to make characters attack. When they died, you either waited real-world hours for them to revive or paid money to bring them back instantly. And if you wanted to unlock iconic characters like Cloud, Terra, or Sephiroth, that was part of a gacha-style premium character lottery where each pull cost $1 with no guarantee of getting who you wanted. The monetization was aggressive, unbalanced, and completely at odds with the depth and legacy of the Final Fantasy name. Fans and critics tore the game apart, calling it a soulless cash grab and one of the worst abuses of a classic IP in mobile gaming. Even long-term Square Enix fans, who are used to abuse, felt betrayed. All the Bravest wasn't just a bad game. It became a case study in what happens when publishers try to extract nostalgia for profit. A reminder that no matter how beloved the franchise, mobile monetization can break even the bravest. When Blizzard first announced Diablo Immortal in 2018, the response was less than enthusiastic.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have
Everyone's got a
phones,
phone.
right?
Fans of the Diablo franchise had been waiting years for a proper sequel or a full PC game. Instead, Blizzard revealed a mobile exclusive title. When Diablo Immortal finally launched in 2022, it offered the core Diablo hack-and-slash experience, complete with familiar classes and loot hunting. But the game quickly drew criticism for how deeply it leaned into mobile monetization tactics. Progression felt painfully grind-heavy unless you were willing to pay, with key systems like skill upgrades, equipment, and character enhancement gated behind microtransactions or long wait times. The game also leaned heavily on gacha-style randomized loot boxes, meaning players could spend thousands chasing rare items without guarantees. This pay-to-win feel rubbed many fans the wrong way, as it contrasted with the more skill and effort based gameplay of classic Diablo titles. Despite the controversies, Diablo Immortal proved to be a massive financial success, earning hundreds of millions within its first year. It revealed a hard truth about mobile gaming's biggest franchises. Adapting to mobile often means sacrificing player goodwill for monetization. The tension between legacy fans and mobile market realities made Diablo Immortal one of the most polarizing mobile games of recent years. A cautionary tale about balancing fan expectations with the demands of a free-to-play economy. Nintendo has always been famously protective of its intellectual properties. For years, they refused to let their iconic franchises to mobile, claiming they were built for dedicated hardware, not touchscreens. But in 2016, that changed. During an Apple keynote, Shigeru Miyamoto himself took the stage to announce Super Mario Run, a game launching exclusively on iOS. This wasn't just a mobile release, it was a historic partnership. Nintendo had never allowed its characters outside its own consoles, let alone tied them to a compelling tech platform. Well, almost never.
Your friend Link could eat 10 of these.
At least.
Ha! The Arpagos will die for them.
Apple and Nintendo both treated it like a landmark moment, and it was. But there was a catch. Super Mario Run used a premium model. One price unlocks the game. No loot boxes, no energy systems, and it flopped commercially. Despite 300 million downloads, most users didn't convert to paying customers. Nintendo was stunned. The lesson learned? Mobile users were trained to expect free games with optional spending, not upfront paywalls. Since then, Nintendo shifted gears. Titles like Fire Emblem Heroes and Mario Kart Tour fully embraced mobile monetization, including gacha mechanics and microtransactions. The Apple partnership opened the floodgates, but the dream of mobile Nintendo with console values didn't last. In chasing the mobile market, even Nintendo realized nostalgia alone doesn't pay the bills. Microtransactions do. When most people think of gaming, they picture consoles or cool-looking PCs, not someone poking at Candy Crush on the toilet. But here's the crazy part. Mobile gaming doesn't just compete with console and PC. As of recent years, it crushes them. Mobile makes up over 50% of global gaming revenue. It has a far larger user base, with approximately 2.85 billion mobile game players in 2024. In comparison, about 630 million play on consoles. This is largely due to the accessibility of smartphones, which are owned by a vast majority of people. You don't need a $500 console or a graphics card that costs more than rent. Mobile games are also engineered for quick dopamine hits and endless spending potential, whether it's kids buying gems in Clash Royale or bored commuters grinding AFK Arena. In countries like China and India, mobile is the primary gaming platform. Many mobile games utilize a free-to-play model, which attracts a huge user base as players can download and try games without upfront cost. While core gamers might scoff at it, publishers aren't laughing. They're pivoting hard toward mobile because that's where the real money is. It's not the side hustle of gaming anymore, it's the main course. The Lord of the Rings, Rise to War, had everything going for it. A beloved fantasy franchise, AAA style visuals, and the promise of deep strategic warfare set in Middle-earth. But behind the flashy trailer and the rich lore was a game built on the foundations of grinding, monetization, and frustration. Released in 2021 by NetEase and officially licensed by Warner Bros., Rise to War marketed itself as a complex, alliance-based strategy game. In reality, it quickly devolved into a pay-to-dominate war simulator, where players willing to spend the most gained massive advantages, faster upgrades, better commanders, more resources, and total battlefield control. Entire player alliances were crushed simply because they didn't have whales backing them. To make matters worse, the game used time-gated progression, confusing systems, and a reset-based seasonal structure that wiped progress every few months. This led to widespread burnout, with many players realizing that even after weeks of grinding, their efforts could be wiped or nullified unless they kept spending. Fans of Tolkien's world were especially critical. The deep lore and careful world building of Middle-earth felt hollow in a system designed around monetization first and immersion second. It wasn't a battle for the One Ring, it was a battle for your wallet.
Your letter has arrived.
When Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery launched in 2018, fans were thrilled at the idea of finally creating their own witch or wizard and attending Hogwarts. Set years before Harry's story, it promised original characters, new mysteries, and the chance to live out your wizarding school fantasy. What players got instead was one of the most aggressively monetized mobile RPGs of its time. Almost every major story beat, every duel, emotional scene, every life or death moment was locked behind an energy system. You'd run out of energy mid-conversation, mid-spell, and the game would just freeze. Want to keep going? Either wait hours or pay. The game turned cliffhangers and tension into emotional paywalls, forcing you to either sit through frustrating downtime or open your wallet. And it worked. The game made millions in its first year, preying on nostalgia and the captive fanbase. Critics accused it of manipulating children and warping a beloved world. It became a cautionary tale in how even the most magical franchises can be twisted by mobile monetization. Hogwarts Mystery wasn't a failure, it was a lesson. The magic might be real, but so is the business model underneath it. Augmented reality, or AR, promised to revolutionize mobile gaming by blending digital content with the real world. The idea seemed pretty cool. Use your phone's camera and GPS to interact with virtual creatures and objects overlaid onto your environment. Pokemon Go proved the concept in 2016, sending millions of players outside to catch Pikachu and explore their surroundings like never before. It sparked a massive craze and showed that AR could create unique social and physical gaming experiences. But after that initial explosion, AR gaming struggled to maintain momentum. Many AR titles failed to deliver long-term engagement or innovation, often falling back on recycled gameplay loops wrapped in AR tech. Limitations like battery drain, GPS inaccuracies, and hardware requirements also hindered widespread adoption. Developers faced a tough balance, crafting compelling AR experiences while avoiding gimmicks or intrusive mechanics. Despite these challenges, AR gaming remains a fascinating frontier. Newer titles and tech improvements keep pushing boundaries, blending fitness, exploration, and storytelling in ways mobile games never did before. AR's potential to merge reality and play is still largely untapped, making it one of mobile gaming's most exciting, if uneven, chapters. Madden Mobile, at its peak, brought in over $1 million a day in purchases during holiday programs in Madden Mobile 16 and 17. Madden Mobile 2024 couldn't even bring $10 million total. What started as a robust mobile adaptation with satisfying game modes and progression gradually devolved into a repetitive grind. Core mechanics stagnated or were simply removed, and meaningful updates dried up. EA shifted focus to microtransactions and live event pushes. They gutted the game. Back in 2015 to 17, they had a pretty good dev team working on it. A lot of sets, a solid rotation of store packs, live events, and promos. Now, it's just a copy and paste 2-week promo, then copy and paste the next promo. The most upsetting change was the removal of an in-game auction house. Using this, you could put up your unwanted players up to the highest bidder with real-time auctions. If you wanted a 92 overall rated cornerback, you would have the option to sell the rest of your players until you had enough coins to bid on someone's Richard Sherman card. This system allowed for an in-depth managerial aspect to team building. After removal of the auction house, higher overall cards were released at a more frequent rate. Numbers no longer mean anything. A 200 overall card meant if you wanted to climb the ranks and beat everyone, you would just need to buy enough card packs. There's not much to do in the game anymore. It's just a monthly card collecting game. There's zero skill or difficulty to the game. Everyone has the same team. Try starting the game today. To play an online match, you will need to click through dozens of tutorials that introduce their different currencies and systems. It's a bloated mess.
My day was ruined this morning.
Tell me how.
Not how. Who? Vernon Smalls.
What did that expletive do to you?
Been placed back into society.
In 2012, Tom Hanks helped create a dystopian animated web series called Electric City. It was supposed to be the future of storytelling, an ambitious cross-media experience with an animated show, a website, and yes, a mobile game. That game, Electric City: The Revolt, was a top-down stealth action title set in the same world as the series. It actually wasn't half bad. Think early Metal Gear Solid meets mobile touchscreen. Why is this notable? The game is gone, delisted, unsupported, basically erased from existence. Like many early mobile tie-ins, it wasn't preserved in any meaningful way. No fanbase, no ROM dump, not even a proper YouTube playthrough. It's a perfect example of how fragile mobile game preservation is. Even a game backed by one of the biggest actors in Hollywood can disappear without a trace.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please, go ahead.
Oh, it's all yours.
No.
No? Well, I own a lot of books.
Really? How many?
Oh, a dozen.
Wow. You own 12 books. Wow, that's impressive.
Electric City feels like a ghost from a time when media companies thought mobile was the next frontier before they pivoted to streaming and microtransactions. Fake mobile ads have become one of the most infamous and strangely successful marketing strategies in gaming. You've seen them: a man failing to solve a puzzle, a woman escaping a burning building, a queen choosing between a poor husband and a rich ex. They're bizarre, dramatic, and usually nothing like the actual game. Once you install the app, it's just a match 3 clone or idle clicker with none of the action you were promised. Why do developers do this? Because it works. The ads are designed to trigger curiosity and emotion, frustration, suspense, even pity. They often use simple, relatable challenges that make you think, I could do better. That clickbait psychology fuels installs, and once you're in the app, they've already won. Some games go a step further and actually add short playable versions of these fake scenarios to the intro, just to buy time before switching you over to the real game. Studios like Playrix and countless hyper-casual publishers have turned this tactic into a science, despite constant backlash. Platforms occasionally crack down, but enforcement is inconsistent. In the end, fake ads reveal just how blurred the line is between marketing and manipulation in mobile gaming. The ad is rarely like the game, and that's exactly the point. In mobile gaming, most players spend nothing, not a dime, and yet these games rake in billions. This is due to whales, the term used for the small percentage of users who spend hundreds, even thousands of dollars, sometimes monthly. They aren't just important, they're essential. For many free-to-play titles, whales make up less than 1% of the user base, but generate over 50% of total revenue. Developers design around this reality: events, loot boxes, limited time characters, all built to tempt whales into opening their wallets. There are early adopter bundles, power packs, and exclusive content that's hard to ignore if you're already invested. The more someone pays, the more the game bends to reward them. In extreme cases, whales can effectively buy dominance, maxed out characters, and VIP perks that put free players in a different league entirely. It's not always exploitative. Some whales just really love the game, but mobile studios often depend on cultivating them, nudging high spenders further down the rabbit hole with psychological tactics, sunk cost fallacy, and flashy dopamine hits. If whales leave, the game can collapse, so everything, from design to balance, is tuned around keeping them happy, even if it alienates everyone else. It's not just free to play, it's free to serve the top 1%, and for better or worse, that's just how mobile gaming survives. Flappy Bird was a simple game. Tap to flap, avoid pipes, repeat. But in early 2014, it blew up into a viral phenomenon. It was everywhere. Memes, news reports, YouTubers raging at its difficulty. At its peak, the game was making around $50,000 a day in ad revenue. But then, out of nowhere, the developer, Dong Win, pulled it from the App Store. Not because of lawsuits, not because of bugs, but because he felt guilty. He said the game was too addictive, that it was ruining lives and relationships, and that he didn't want that on his conscience. Just to repeat, he voluntarily walked away from a guaranteed fortune. The response was interesting. People were listing phones on eBay with Flappy Bird installed for thousands of dollars. It was one of the first times a developer chose ethics over profit, and it cemented Flappy Bird in gaming history. In an industry that almost always chases the bag, Win's move was both baffling and kind of admirable. Epic Games decided to poke the bear, and the bear was Apple. Epic slipped an alternate payment system into Fortnite on iOS, letting players buy V-Bucks directly from them instead of through Apple's 30% cut. Apple responded instantly, banning Fortnite from the App Store, which Epic Games knew would happen, and retaliated by filing a massive antitrust lawsuit against Apple, accusing them of wielding illegal monopoly power over the iOS app ecosystem and its users. Apple fired back with a countersuit, alleging breach of contract. After a contentious trial, a mixed ruling emerged in September 2021. While the court didn't find Apple to be a monopolist, it did rule against Apple's anti-steering policies, forcing them to allow developers to link to alternative payment methods outside the App Store. Both companies appealed the decision, leading to a prolonged legal battle. In a significant turn of events, a 2025 ruling stated that Apple had willfully violated the initial injunction, engaging in anti-competitive practices like imposing new fees on off-app purchases and misleading the court. Fortnite is once again available to download from the Apple App Store. Gacha mechanics are the beating heart of mobile gaming in East Asia, especially Japan, South Korea, and China, where they've created some of the world's most lucrative and culturally ingrained games. The term gacha comes from Japanese capsule toy vending machines, where you pay for a random prize. Mobile games have turned this into a massive revenue engine, where players spend in-game currency, often bought with real money, to pull for rare characters, weapons, or items. Games like Fate, Grand Order, Genshin Impact, and Azur Lane are built around these systems. They mix addictive randomness with beautiful art, ongoing events, and storylines to keep players hooked. But beneath the surface, gacha is essentially gambling. Players chase elusive 5-star heroes, sometimes spending thousands of dollars chasing the perfect pull with no guarantees. The psychological design taps into hope, fear of missing out, and the thrill of reward. In many East Asian markets, this system is widely accepted and even celebrated, making gacha a normal part of gaming culture. Obviously, this model has raised ethical concerns worldwide, with critics warning it preys on vulnerable players and blurs the line between gaming and gambling. Yet from a business standpoint, gacha remains wildly profitable and continues to dominate mobile gaming in the region, shaping trends that ripple across the global industry.
Get my first elite Madden Mobile 18, BAM! Oh,
When Genshin Impact launched in 2020, many dismissed it as just another flashy gacha game, but behind the anime visuals and Breath of the Wild comparisons was something far more ambitious, a game that may be the most expensive title ever developed. Estimates put Genshin's initial development budget at around $100 million, with $200 million annually spent on ongoing content updates, voice acting, global marketing, and live operations. That level of investment is on par with, or even exceeds, many AAA console titles for a free-to-play mobile-first game, but it works. Genshin Impact made over $1 billion in just its first 6 months, largely through its gacha system, where players spend money trying to unlock rare characters and weapons. This success proved that a mobile game could be both critically acclaimed and a monetization juggernaut. It wasn't just casual mobile players either. Hardcore gamers took notice. Still, Genshin's success comes with a cost. It popularized an ultra-polished, high-budget gacha model that other studios now try to replicate, blending immersive gameplay with monetization that can run thousands of dollars deep. It blurred the line between console and mobile gaming, but also between art and business.
Once again, my terrible secret is...
Hooray! I'm being sucked away with friends!
Mobile gaming is a fast-moving, ever-changing ecosystem, and unlike console or PC games, many mobile titles have a short lifespan because these games rely on app stores and server support. When developers stop updating or companies shut down, entire games can disappear overnight. Unlike physical games or downloadable PC titles, there's often no way to archive or preserve mobile games properly. This means classics like Infinity Blade, once a flagship mobile RPG, praised for its graphics and gameplay, are now completely unplayable. Apple and Google removed it from their stores years ago, and without official support, you can't download or play it anymore. Similarly, many smaller or soft-launched games vanish without fanfare, often without any backups or emulators available. Even major titles, like some of the Angry Birds entries, were deliberately deleted by their creators, adding to the digital graveyard. This fragile, disappearing nature of mobile games creates a kind of digital amnesia, whole chapters of gaming history lost to time, with no preservation efforts or official archives. For a medium that reaches billions, the loss is staggering. You close the app, you move on with your day, then your phone lights up, your crops are withering, or your troops are under attack. These aren't just reminders, they're psychological triggers, and mobile developers design them with one goal in mind: get you back in the app. Push notifications are crafted using behavioral psychology, drawing from the same principles used in social media and gambling. They rely on interruption, urgency, and emotional manipulation, whether it's fear of missing out, anxiety, or even guilt, especially if you're part of a team or guild. These messages are meant to feel personal. They're engineered to turn occasional players into daily users, and daily users into spenders. Games like Clash of Clans, AFK Arena, or even Candy Crush build entire engagement loops around these alerts. Some messages are time sensitive. Log in now for a free gift. Other manufacturers stress your hero is dying, and over time they start to condition your behavior, creating habits that make checking the app feel automatic, even necessary.
Push notifications are the only worse thing to get on your cell phone than an actual phone call.
It's subtle, powerful, and kind of unsettling, because while push notifications may seem harmless, They're part of a larger design strategy, one where the real gameplay is happening inside your brain, and your attention is the main currency. Not all mobile games are just shallow or repetitive. Some are downright malicious. Over the years, app stores like Google and Apple's have faced an ongoing battle against apps that disguise themselves as innocent games but secretly run adware or spyware. These apps often look harmless, simple puzzles, casual clickers, or kids games, but once installed, they bombard users with intrusive ads, hijack phone functions, or even download unwanted software without permission. A big example is the Joker malware family, which slipped into multiple apps, subscribing users to costly premium services without their consent. This kind of hidden exploitation preys on unsuspecting users, turning their devices into ad-serving machines or data mining tools under the guise of entertainment. The scale of this problem is staggering. Google regularly purges thousands of such apps, but new ones pop up constantly. This toxic underbelly of mobile gaming highlights how the platform's open nature and massive scale can be weaponized against users. It also underlines the importance of vigilance, downloading only from trusted developers, checking reviews carefully, and keeping software updated. While most mobile games are safe and fun, the presence of adware disguised as games is a stark reminder that not every app is what it seems. Loot boxes used to just be a fun little bonus. Open one up, see what you get. But over the last decade, they've become one of the most hotly debated features in gaming. And nowhere is the controversy louder than in the mobile space, where loot boxes are often tied directly to real money and randomized rewards. Critics say they're just gambling dressed up with flashing lights and colorful skins, especially dangerous when marketed to kids. Governments around the world have started to agree. In Belgium and the Netherlands, loot boxes are now considered a form of gambling and are banned outright in many games. The UK Parliament has pushed for regulation, and even the US Federal Trade Commission held hearings after public outrage over how loot boxes appear in titles like FIFA Mobile and Clash Royale. In response, some developers have added pity systems or displayed drop rates, but others simply geo-block their games in regions with strict laws. That tells you everything. Removing loot boxes would hurt profits. In many mobile games, loot boxes are the business model. Without them, the entire monetization structure collapses. The global pushback is forcing a reckoning. What used to be just another mechanic is now under scrutiny from regulators, parents, and players alike. As more countries draw the line between gameplay and gambling, the question becomes, will the industry adapt or find sneakier ways around it? Imagine downloading a basic puzzle game or idle clicker. Nothing fancy, just something to kill time. But while you're matching titles or upgrading virtual cows, your phone starts getting hot. Battery drains fast. Your data plan sends usage warnings. What's going on? In some cases, it's not just the game. It's crypto mining running silently in the background. In the late 2010s and early 2020s, multiple mobile apps were caught embedding cryptocurrency miners without telling users. These hidden miners hijack your device's processor to generate coins, usually Monero, because it's harder to trace. You don't get any of the profits, the developer does. Meanwhile, your phone slows down, heats up, and ages faster than it should. This kind of abuse was especially common in sketchy Android apps, many disguised as simple games. Some of them got millions of downloads before being pulled from the Play Store. In one case, over 20 apps from a single developer were caught turning users' phones into unwitting crypto rigs. It's a perfect example of how bad actors exploit mobile gaming's low entry barrier and massive reach. You're not just the user, you are the resource. Your processor, your battery, your data plan, all quietly working for someone else's crypto wallet. Mobile gaming has incredible potential. Smartphones are more powerful than early consoles, boasting impressive hardware and software capabilities that could support deep, innovative gameplay experiences. Yet most mobile games choose the easy path, prioritizing quick profits over creativity. Why innovate when you can copy? Instead of investing in fresh ideas or engaging mechanics, developers often churn out cookie-cutter match-3 games, hyper-casual clickers, or repetitive gacha titles designed primarily to milk microtransactions and ads. This monetization-first mindset leads to a stagnant landscape where games are engineered to maximize user spending rather than player enjoyment. Features like endless timers, paywalls, and gambling mechanics aren't just add-ons. They become the core gameplay loop. Even major studios known for innovation often shy away from risk on mobile, opting instead to graft popular monetization systems onto their brands. The result is a flood of samey, shallow experiences that prioritize addictiveness and spending over meaningful interaction or storytelling. This trend has real consequences. It narrows what mobile gaming can be and discourages developers from pushing boundaries. Players get bored, innovation stalls, and the industry loses out on the kind of creative breakthrough that defined gaming's past. Mobile gaming could be so much more than a cash grab, but until monetization stops dominating design, creativity will stay locked in second place.